Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode. It's not going to be that fantastic, it's going to be more of an update. I have been making progress on lots of different things. Main one being the XW. I guess I'll just stop rambling and show you. Alrighty, back into it. I have been busy on the XW. I have been busy with work. Combi man should go away this week. Been very happy with that. And I've got a few things for the XW and I've made progress. But there's always been like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. But it all adds up. But the problem is the task of the roof is such a huge task. It's going to be very difficult to put that into one video. So I will just show you what I've been up to. Alrighty, we have been making progress. I now own 4 wheels with tyres on this car. I can't remember if he was a viewer or a person I've met in my travels, but he owns a tyre joint in Meadows and he helped me out immensely with getting some crappy tyres for these crappy rims that hold crappy air. So we've been making progress. The Dad's been cleaning out the windscreen channel. Look how good this is. This is really like upsetting because aside from that roof being toasted, it's not rusty. Like all the way along, perfect. Somebody's hacked that out. Got the rear window out. We have some issues, but all in all, actually not half bad. That side is probably the worst. I was saying to Dad earlier, this is the result of this boot lid being left open and it just filling up with crap in the bottom. Now, I believe Don's tricks, he said he had a boot lid that I could potentially have. Problem is, it's about as good as mine. So I may just pass on that offer, thank you buddy, but this one's about as good as the one you had. So I don't know what I'll do about a boot lid just yet, I'm not worried too much. Got a new porta power, 3rd time's a charm. The first one I killed, I did some bad things with the tank. Not really the porta power's fault, I just made it do things that it probably shouldn't have done. Then we got another one and that leaked out of the box, and then we got another one. So here we go, 3rd time's a charm. And I have since used it to straighten up this car. So remember how I said in one of the other videos that this pillar was just leaned in slightly? Well it is, and now it's not. Now the door actually shuts. I mean it drops a little because the door is not great, but I can assure you the car is square. Beautiful. Wouldn't do that before. Now, this is where I've been making progress. You might say, hey Graham, why'd you weld in rusty bits? Because somebody cut out the good bits. So, if you looked in the other video, you'll notice that all of this section here, including the inner frame, was all chopped out. There was like a sliver left, and it was very weak. So, before I chop up the roof, I needed to put the strength back in the car, and this is effectively like a big piece of box section, and it wasn't there, like it wasn't there at all. So I've had to pull that actually is out of that purple XY, so it is rusty, but I can fix that. So basically I just had to put the structure back in so I had something to work from. So that's back in and looking smashing. I've got another piece to go back in here, that's off that other car, which is the top of the I guess you call it door jamb. And then I'm probably going to buy a new quarter panel for this, the whole full one, because it was gone up through here, it's gone in the corner, the wheel arch got a big whack through it, it's rusty, dog leg's gone, and the lower recorder's gone. So I'm like, at that rate you might as well just put a whole quarter panel on it, particularly because it's damaged. That was annoying me. Shuts beautifully. So that's been a fairly major task, putting that back in. Also, I own this wheel now too. So we have 4 wheels on it, which it didn't have before. It runs and drives. Well, it doesn't drive yet. I need a couple of straps for the tail shaft. I still haven't gone and bought them yet. And then it should actually move under its own power, bleed up the brakes, and I reckon it would actually drive. So from what it was to what it is now, it's actually pretty damn good. The EJ is running and driving still. I put some fuel in that the other day, put a little bit more exhaust on it, now it's all good. Wow, the shed's a mess. I scored that today, but unfortunately it's the right hand side, not the left hand side, but not too bad really. Combi van's nearly done. Out of my life that will be. Over here is some bits of the old purple XY that's at the back. So this section is also a bit hairy gown. So what I might do is pull this piece of quarter panel off and then repair this and then separate it and then put it back in the other car. So not a big deal, but just more stuff. So yeah, this side was a bit also I went to Fish Op Falcons, as in fish, as in like fish. Fish Op OP Falcons, he's in Adelaide, and he had a XT Falcon roof for $300. Pretty damn good bargain. I reckon the roof is not dead straight, but it's not crushed, put it that way. So I've managed to save the back off this XY roof. So as you can sort of get the idea of where I'm going to go, I'm going to try and keep as much of this roof as possible and just slip in the rear end. So they are actually, the windscreen mounts are in the same spot, so I'm going to hope that maybe I might better use some of the inner frame in that box section for the other car if I get that apart and see what it's like. Also notice the gutters are different, so on an XY it switches from being underneath the roof to being on the outside of the roof, but on this XT it does not, and the roof doesn't join in the same spot. It's actually more like almost a laser weld, probably an oxy weld, really well done, and the roof and the quarters are part of each other. So I don't know where the join is, but it's not like that. Now a while back I did see somebody had the XWXY rear gutter sections available. If you happen to know where they came from, please let me know, because I cannot remember to save my life, but I need to get a pair of them. But as you can see, the roofs are virtually identical till they get about to here, and then the whole roof changes. So the rear windscreen is in the same spot, but on an XY it's actually recessed in, but it's not actually recessed in. They just extend the roof skin and the pillars out, but the window's still in the same spot. So it must be running the same roof lining as the early ones as well, or at least the same pattern. So all going well. We're able to get this skin off, save some of the inner frame of this to repair that car. Take this, trim this down to about here, save this back section, and then put this on and then join this on as the roof goes on. I saved the rear beam out of that XY, some of the bits. So we've got an XR roof, XRXT with an XY rear, and some of the inner frames are the same. So he told me he turned the compressor off. Apparently that was a bold-faced lie. Anyway, so we're making good progress on the roof. Plural. Basically got to build the frame up and then take it apart. So all going well. That car will be looking much better in a few weeks. Well, could be a month or two. It doesn't happen in 5 minutes. But never hurts to throw. Never ever throw anything away if you think you could use it, because that's probably junk to most people, but to me, perfect. So, tank related update. I have been busy. So you might notice the tank stuff starting to overwhelm the car stuff. So this is actually a whole row of borrowed stuff and stuff I'm taking back to Victoria. So that's actually a clutch out of the tank. Not mine, but another one. These are ammo bins. Bits of a 37 gun. That is a number 19 radio, a late one. It would still work in a Stewart or a Grant or a Matilda or anything Commonwealth, but it's a little bit not early enough for my tank. So so there's that. There's a tail shaft that I borrowed. Now if you're in Adelaide and you know who makes tail shafts, please let me know, because I don't know. I need to get that copied. I need another one of those, exactly the same as that, because that's a borrowed item, so I can take it to someone and say, I need a tail shaft identical to this length, everything. So if you're in Adelaide and you know a good tail shaft mob who can make it from scratch, because you won't have anything to work from, I've got something I need to be made, so let me know if you know anybody. And I've got some accelerator linkages borrowed that I can use as a template to put in the tank. The dash I'm starting to get back together. EJ door issue still haven't quite resolved yet. Oh yeah, so I got that one for my friend, but this one was for me. It's in not amazing condition, I'll give you that, but it is made in Australia. This is, so on that one you'll see there's like English and Russian. This one is an early one, and it's meant, and it's only got English on it. Whatever any of that gibberish means, I don't know. But it also came with so that one was just the radio, because it's in much nicer condition, but this one had lots of bits with it. So put that over there, because that's actually an original wiring diagram, but that's out of a Lee or a Grant, because there's 5 guys and not 4. Got this little box, so I'll put it over here. This says wireless set 19, case, spare valves, something. Oh, I don't dare lift that out because that'll break. But look at that, valves. So that was a cool little find. That was in there. That came with this one. And apparently these are super rare. And I got a little box that goes in the tank somewhere, where I don't know, but it's got all the spare parts in it. Ew, and that piece of foam is deteriorating before my eyes. And I've got some of the switch units, and up here is an original headset just here, and somewhere in my pile I have some of the speaky into-y things. So I don't have a power unit, unfortunately, that plugs in there and mounts just next to it, but I thought, very lucky to find them. Very rare, very rare. So yeah, I have an original radio in the tank that mounts on where that oil can is. It all mounts just there on the sponson. So I had Byron from Down the Shed with Byron here the other day. Had a good old chinwag, and he was looking at the tank, kids climbing all over it. Hopefully they're nicely infected by the green virus now, which is the tank stuff. And in under here, Sheet Metal Australia, bringing back the goods. The 2 tail shaft loops are in there. They're copied off originals, and I don't know if you can see it, but all the linkages for the clutch are in and working. You can't see it, it's too dark, but the clutch pedal does move when you do this. And you think 1 inch of travel isn't much, but that's all it does. On that engine, it only moves a smidgen. So this shield is almost in. This shield needs to have the bolts drilled through there. I need to re-weld through there and put a couple of tabs on it and a few things at the top, but I've just taken a bit of a break on the tank because, one, it's been fairly good at financially crippling me, and 2, I wanted to actually make some progress on the XW and some of the other things. And I've got to do another trip to Victoria very shortly, hopefully picking up a very large engine crane that is going to hopefully put the motor in this hole. So we're nearly ready for engine in time, I'll give you that. That's going to be an exciting moment. So I need to find someone to do the tail shaft, and yeah, a few other odds and ends. And I've got to mount an oil cooler just there, and the lines to go down and around over to the oil tank that mounts here. and then it'll be engine in time. I gotta get, this is the oil tank that's gonna go in, so I gotta give that another birthday. It's got a bit dirty. So then we've got to get this engine off the frame, up 10 feet, and down into the hole. And this weighs like 500 kilos. And my poor little engine crane can't do it. Just simply cannot do it. Oh, and the driver's seat's looking pretty smashing. So yeah, hopefully work-wise, combi van gonna go away this week, and we're back into that coupe, and then we're back into this one, and then we'll slowly get ourselves back into a routine but we just sort of wanted to smash this one out and get it done because it was so agonizingly close. So get that done, get it out. There's a car finished and gone, and then onto these two. Now was another Landau that I was going to be doing, but when I saw it at the sandblasted, I was mortified, and then worked out that I can't do it. I don't have a floor rack in here because it was heavily damaged, but luckily the guy who's doing it I know extremely well, worked with him before, absolutely top bloke, and he was looking for the work, so I was able to palm it on, and it's gone to help him and help the customer and everything. All the ducks lined up beautifully for that one. Not one duck ran away, so that was excellent. So and then the combi van is going to go away, then we'll be back onto the coupe, then the Landau, and then I think we can actually take a bit of a breather and do some of the smaller jobs that have been lingering as well. So it's just, I made a mistake years ago. I started the business and I took on too much work immediately, and I said yes to everybody, and that was the hardest thing in business I've learned, is to say no to people. And it's kicked my tush a few times, and I'm still sort of copping it now. I'm trying to roll back to a manageable level. Okay, good, that dashboard looks. Yeah. So yeah, we're getting back into this. I will be doing some more videos. I've just got to time it a bit better. But this will be an update. We've been making progress. I haven't gone and got it and then just kicked my heels up and going, I don't want to do it anymore. No, I am doing it. I actually got a lead on a pair of XC, no, it was an XB and an XC Ute today. But gee, they were rough. I was like, yeah, I don't really need another project. I may, if they're cheap enough, I might buy them, but I thought, and the owner wasn't quite ready to sell. He hasn't finished what he was doing. So yeah, we've got to undo this sort of disaster first, then do the roof. But then actually, once we've done the roof, we're on to normal rust repairs, and this car will progress quite quickly. So just got to do the worst piece first. So yeah, basically now that this is in, got to do a little piece there, fix this up, start patching up the rust. Then I think once that's repaired, I've got to do the other side. Got to put the bottom of this corner in of the door jamb, repair that, put a piece in here, and then I can leave this side, go to the other side, do that side, and then I should be able to take the roof skin off, and then we can get a real good look at how bad some of those inner beams are, which I suspect this front one may need to be replaced, because I don't know whether it survived being bent like that. I mean, it's straightened up, but it probably isn't too happy, and I reckon some of these upper beams in here are a little bit not happy. So luckily though, we will be able to save the gutter. The sucky bit about these gutters is how many spot welds are in them, because they're put together with a machine that rolls and has a spot weld gap of like 10 millimeters. So there's a spot weld, like there's like 100 of them each down each side. There's heaps and heaps and heaps of them. So I'm toying whether not to just cut that off and then grind that out, and then on the other roof do the opposite. See, there's nothing actually wrong with that gutter, it's just rusty. It's actually probably clean up really nicely. So if the gutter's not stuffed, don't cut it off. And obviously the damage is only in the roof, and of course we've got a little bit down here. might have just slightly tripped over then. So if I get myself a quarter panel, it'll solve a lot of issues. There's a join that goes through there, through here, and I think it's that way actually, through there. So you sort of save this piece, spot welds through here, down around the bottom, rear arch, and then through the dog leg, and then this comes off. It's interesting that the sort of quarter panel tucks in behind here, so I don't really know how you do that without taking a big piece of the roof off. Anyway, I think that'll do it for an update. I have been trying to get them out, I just get done in by different things at different times. So I hope you enjoyed this update. It's not going to be great, but it'll be something, and we're going to try and get more videos out more frequently. So I'll see you around, chaps.